Hi guys, welcome back to another video. In today's video, we're talking about indices, especially US indices, and my thoughts, what I'm going to be doing. We've currently got quite a lot of political tension at the moment. We've got Trump tariffs, global tariffs of 15%, which Trump is trying to impose. We've got the Iran news with Iran having less than 10 days now to sign an agreement or agree to the terms that Donald Trump has set them, which is creating political tension. I'm currently in gold longs right here, which is playing out pretty nicely, I must say. Um, I did say in my Discord server, which you can join in the description below, how and the reasons why I was entering gold here. And yeah, I just took the break out of this level of structure here. As you can see, this level of of resistance right here. There's several tops, and as soon as we broke past it, my entry was basically last night at the Sunday Open in the UK, which is around 11 o'clock in UK time. So yeah, I want to get in longs because there are a number of reasons really about the political tension, quantitative easing. We have interest rates that are looking like they're going to be lowering, less liquidity obviously in indices, possibly, and now we're seeing large drops in price. And the reason is because we've just seen it GDP growth come out worse than expected. So if I go right here, we can see also in the core reports, we go to the latest core reports right here, we can see what are banks doing? Well, they're selling US indices, as you can say here. This is the Dow Jones, it's the US 30, we've got the Russell and the S&P. These are the most bearish core report readings, which means the banks are selling, as you can see here with short contracts, they're selling a lot of short positions, 28,000 um, adding a lot of short positions, as you can see, adding 28,000 short positions, losing 44,000 longs, which means have we seen price reflect that? If we go to US 30 especially, look at that. We've got crazy amount of selling going on. We go to the Russell right here. Look at this. This is big movements in price. Now I'm going to look to try and short this. Try and short this market really. I think there's a lot of overvalued AI companies. Whether or not there's a bubble or not, I'm not completely sure. I do think there's, decreasing in, you know, in earnings. We're not seeing earnings looking as good at the moment as what they were. And obviously that GDP statistic coming out worse than expected has really affected these indices, as you can see. I think the fact that we're in a risk-off environment means that we are seeing lower liquidity, as you can see in these indices. People not really wanting to put their money in the indice market, rather putting their money in commodities. Gold's up, silver's up, platinum's up. We've got oil up. All these indices are doing very well, very, very well. Um, Even things like lean hogs, is up as well. So we're seeing these risk on assets, however, like Bitcoin. We're seeing indices all consolidate and start to see bearish pressure coming through here. We just put in this possible lower high though, and I'll be waiting. If we put this lower high in for a break of this area here, break of the 200 EMA, break of all of these areas of support here, to then look for a bearish sell-off to the downside. I think that's really the easiest trade, isn't it? If we can break past these lows, break past this 200 EMA, bang, we can get into a short here. Either play the breakout game or the break in the retest, depending on how my sentiment goes really. But either's a good trade. Maybe I look to go 0.5 in here and another 0.5 in here. If we don't take the pullback, I can still take profit out over here. If I do get the pullback, then we can look to add more to my position. I can continue to add more positions, and maybe the targets will be around here. If we look to where we are now, that would be only a 4.66% lowering on the S&P. We've seen much worse conditions. This is all we've seen. Prices, doing 20% plus push down. And people who do believe the AI bubble narrative will expect prices, I'm sure, to come down. 20% or so, 10 to 20%, and maybe even more. So yeah, if we can break this EMA especially, I'll be looking to 100% get in the market. I think we got really all the factors now aligning. If we go um, to the S&P, we can see that we are now getting a bearish reading here with the fundamental outlook, with the Dow and the S&P getting -5 and a -6 reading, showing weakness because we got weak COTS, we've got weak economic data coming in for the GDP. GDP is the biggest factor really in indices because that's showing growth in the economy, growth of companies and growth of how much companies are making in terms of their products into the economy. So you can see retail sales are down, that's bearish. We can see GDP growth came out worse than forecasted, a lot worse than forecasted. We were expected 2.8%, only got 1.4. We're down to UK growth in the economy. So consumer confidence is down, and we've also got PPI, PCE, all of these are down. Jobs are also on the down side as well. We're seeing employment struggle in the US because of AI, the advent of AI, and that could show signs of starting of a weak economy. You know, we have seen inflation lower in the US, which means the dollar has really weakened because we've seen sort of quantitative easing where interest rates are getting lower rather than tightening and Fed tightening. So yeah, this should really support the S&P because if interest rates go down, less people are likely to save their money, so they're going to be wanting to put it into risk on assets like the S&P, which could give them a higher return. So yeah, that is one thing you could save this trade, but I quite like the narrative of shorting it. You know, it's obviously very, very difficult to short the stock market and short the S&P especially. But maybe I look to the Dow Jones, which could be a bit of an easier trade. Right here, we have now broken below the 200-day moving average, and we've broken, it looks like, this 50 EMA on the daily time frame as well. So this is looking like a much nicer trade to sort of try and play the short game here. So if we have this like quite strong level of support here, I'll be looking for a breakout in this trade as well to the downside. Maybe that's the trade I take instead. We'll just have to see what happens. The Dow Jones is a lot more volatile, so we have to be expecting that. But yeah, nonetheless, that will be my setup. And if you guys agree with the videos, please smash the like button and subscribe if you enjoyed it. And yeah, make sure to check out my Discord. As you can see here, I put in all of my trading ideas. This is the update on the pound futures trade I'm in. This is all of my reason I've just entered GBP CAD. Yeah, you can see the live entries going in on these trades every single time for ages, And yeah, feel free to check out the Discord if you're interested in learning how to swing trade. And I'll see you in the next one.